Welcome to Starbound Valor HFY. Subscribe now and dive into daily epic sci-fi adventures, where humanity always rises. The Galactic Council Hall was calm in a way that felt final, as if the galaxy itself had decided nothing important would happen again. Vast windows showed spinning stars, peaceful trade routes, and silent space lanes that had not seen war in many cycles. The elders of many species sat in floating seats, their voices low and bored. Earth was on the agenda, but no one truly cared. To them, humanity was young, divided, and weak. A small species from a yellow star, still arguing among themselves, still bound to one planet. Reports said Earth had no major fleets beyond its system, no presence in deep space, and no power worth watching. One council member laughed softly and said humans were good for trade stories, nothing more. Another suggested removing patrol fleets near human space to save resources. The motion passed without debate. Defense lines shifted away from Earth sector. Automated weapons powered down. The galaxy, confident and relaxed, lowered its guard. Far away, in the quiet darkness beyond mapped space, something moved. On Earth, deep under layers of stone and metal, human commanders stood in silence. No cheers, no anger, no speeches. They watched screens filled with data, star maps, and silent signals. Humanity had heard the Council's decision hours earlier. They expected it. For years, humans had learned that the galaxy only respected strength, and strength was best revealed when the enemy stopped looking. One officer spoke calmly, confirming the Council fleets were withdrawing. Another confirmed the final lock was complete. No one smiled. This moment was not about pride. It was about survival. In deep space, far beyond the usual jump lanes, a shadow darker than the void itself drifted forward. Sensors from nearby alien stations flickered, then failed. Long-range scanners returned empty space, where something massive clearly existed. Automatic systems tried to adjust, tried to see, but the readings made no sense. Stars bent strangely. Light faded around a single moving point. An alien patrol ship, old and careless, drifted close. Its crew relaxed after the Council's order. Their screens screamed warnings for half a second before going black. The ship did not explode. It did not burn. It simply went dark, powerless, floating like a dead shell. The crew lived, but fear gripped them as they saw it. A shape larger than their largest city passed silently before them. No engines burned. No weapons glowed. It moved with slow purpose, like something that knew it owned the space it crossed. The patrol sent a panic signal before systems failed completely. The message reached the Council in fragments, broken and confused. Emergency lights filled the Council Hall as alarms finally broke the calm. Members shouted, demanding answers. Sensors were pointed back toward the sector they had just abandoned. What they saw made the air feel heavy. A single object was emerging from human space, massive beyond belief, built not like alien ships, but like a moving fortress. Smooth dark armor absorbed light. Its shape was simple, brutal, and efficient. No decoration, no attempt to appear friendly. The Council demanded identification, but the object did not answer. It continued forward, crossing borders that had not been defended for centuries. Fleets scrambled in confusion. Ships rushing from distant systems, but they were slow, unprepared, and afraid. Some captains ordered attacks out of panic. Small fighters rushed toward the dark giant, weapons firing bright lines of energy. The shots vanished against invisible barriers, doing nothing. Then, without warning, the fighters lost power and drifted away, untouched but defeated. No return fire, no warning, just silence. On Earth, a single voice finally spoke aboard the warship's bridge, calm and steady. The crew listened without emotion as the order was given. Maintain course. Do not engage unless threatened. Humanity had not come in anger. They had come because the galaxy had decided humans did not matter. The warship crossed another border, closer now to the heart of galactic space. Worlds watched from below as the sky darkened for a moment, stars dimming as the massive vessel passed overhead. Old species felt something they had not felt in ages. Fear mixed with shame. They realized they had judged humanity by their past, not by what they had become. The council tried again to speak, offering apologies, claiming misunderstanding, but still the warship did not answer. It was not there to talk yet. It was there to be seen. Data poured in from every system. Energy readings off the scale. Defensive fields layered and adaptive. Hull strength beyond known physics. This was not a ship built for conquest alone. It was a ship built to end wars before they began. Finally, as the warship slowed near a major trade hub, a simple transmission echoed across all channels, translated into every known language. The voice was human, neither loud nor threatening. It said humanity had listened when the galaxy laughed, learned when the galaxy ignored them, and prepared while the galaxy slept. It said Earth sought no empire, no throne, no destruction. But it also said humanity would never again accept being seen as harmless prey. The message ended without demand or threat. The warship remained, silent and unmoving, casting its shadow over the heart of galactic space. In that moment, every species understood the truth too late. The galaxy had lowered its defenses, believing itself safe. And now, humanity's most lethal warship had emerged, not with fire and rage, but with calm certainty, and the quiet promise that the age of underestimating Earth was over. The massive human warship continued its slow advance through galactic space, moving with a calm confidence that unsettled every species watching it. After the first transmission, silence returned, heavier than before. The ship did not chase fleeing patrols or respond to the many desperate signals sent by nearby stations. It simply existed, a dark presence that bent light and attention around itself. Alien commanders stared at their screens, unable to look away. This was not how conquerors acted. This was how something ancient and certain behaved. In the Galactic Council Hall, panic replaced arrogance. Elders argued, blaming each other for pulling back defenses too soon. Some demanded a full military response. Others warned that attacking such a ship could bring total destruction. Data analysts rushed to understand the vessel, but every scan returned incomplete results. Its systems changed constantly, adapting faster than any known technology. The warship seemed alive, not in thought, but in purpose. As it moved deeper into controlled space, trade routes froze. Civilian ships powered down, hiding in shadows. Entire worlds watched their skies in fear as the stars dimmed for seconds when the warship passed nearby. On the bridge of the human vessel, discipline ruled. Officers spoke only when needed. Displays showed thousands of potential threats, yet no alarm sounded. This ship had trained for this moment for generations. Humanity had learned patience through hardship and restraint through loss. The captain, a quiet figure at the center of the bridge, studied the galactic map. The course was clear, carefully chosen to pass through key systems without firing a single shot. Each movement was a message. Humanity was not sneaking. Humanity was walking openly into the heart of the galaxy. A small alien fleet, made up of several species working together, gathered ahead of the warship. They were nervous but determined, believing numbers might matter. Their weapons powered up, lighting space with energy. They demanded the human vessel stop and submit to inspection. There was no response. The warship did not slow. As the alien fleet opened fire, beams and missiles struck an invisible wall far from the hull. Space rippled, but the ship remained untouched. Then something strange happened. The alien ship's weapons shut down. Engines failed. Lights dimmed. One by one, the fleet drifted helplessly, alive but powerless. No explosion. No death. The human warship passed through them, close enough that crews could see their own reflections in its dark armor. Fear spread faster than any signal. Reports flooded the council. Humanity was disabling fleets without killing anyone. This was worse than destruction. It meant control. On distant worlds, scholars and historians began to speak of humans differently. They remembered old stories of Earth, a planet that survived disasters, wars, and near extinction. A species that learned from pain. A species that prepared for threats long before they appeared. The warship slowed near a massive communication relay, a symbol of galactic unity. For the first time since entering deep space, the human vessel changed formation. Panels shifted. Systems aligned. The galaxy held its breath. Another transmission followed, brief and calm. The voice explained that the ship would not attack civilian worlds, trade hubs, or cultural centers. Humanity did not seek fear. Humanity sought recognition. The message ended, and again the ship fell silent. Inside the council, shame replaced anger. They realized the truth. Humanity had watched the galaxy for centuries, learning its habits, its pride, its weaknesses. When the council lowered its guard, humans did not rush in screaming. They stepped forward quietly, knowing that silence would speak louder than fire. Emergency fleets arrived too late, stopping at safe distances, unwilling to test themselves against the unknown. Admirals argued but could not agree. Every simulation ended the same way. Total failure. Meanwhile, on Earth, people watched live feeds of the warship's progress. There were no celebrations, no chants. Humanity understood the weight of what was happening. This ship carried not just weapons, but the hopes and fears of an entire species. It represented every time Earth had been ignored, threatened, or dismissed. It was not built in pride, but in caution. As the warship reached the center of galactic space, it finally stopped. Stars slowly returned to normal brightness. The shadow remained, steady and patient. A final message reached the council chambers, clear and impossible to ignore. Humanity was ready to speak as equals, not as subjects, not as enemies, equals. The galaxy listened in complete silence. In that moment, everyone understood that the arrival of the warship was not the beginning of a war, but the end of an old belief. The belief that humans were small, weak, and unimportant was gone forever. The galaxy had lowered its defenses once. Now it stood exposed before a species that had learned the power of restraint and the quiet strength of being underestimated. The silence after humanity's message pressed heavily on the Galactic Council, spreading through every chamber and every world that listened. No one spoke at first, because no one knew how. The human warship waited at the center of galactic space, unmoving, its dark shape a constant reminder of the Council's mistake. Fleets hovered at long distance, weapons charged but unused, commanders afraid to give the wrong order. The Council finally broke the silence, with urgent debate. Some elders demanded diplomacy, others demanded force, but all of them feared the same thing, that this single ship already controlled the balance of power. Data from disabled fleets confirmed the truth. The human vessel could shut down advanced systems without damage or loss of life. It could reach across space with precision and restraint. That knowledge terrified the galaxy more than open destruction ever could. As discussions grew heated, a radical coalition of younger species made a dangerous choice. They believed the Council looked weak, and weakness invited control. Acting without approval, they gathered a hidden strike force from outer systems, ships armed with experimental weapons and reckless courage. Their plan was simple: strike fast, strike hard, and prove that humanity could bleed. The fleet moved through unguarded routes, slipping past sensors that had been powered down when defenses were lowered. They emerged near the human warship in a sudden burst of light, weapons already firing. Energy beams and heavy missiles rushed toward the dark hull with furious speed. For the first time since its arrival, the human ship reacted. Space twisted as layered shields activated, bending attacks away as if they were nothing more than dust. The assault continued, louder and more desperate, but it achieved nothing. Then the warship responded, not with rage, but with clarity. A pulse spread outward, silent and invisible. The attacking fleet froze. Weapons shut down mid-fire. Navigation systems failed. Power vanished. Dozens of ships drifted helplessly, their crews alive and shaking, staring at the impossible machine before them. Across the galaxy, the message was clear. Humanity could end battles without killing, and that made them far more dangerous than any conqueror. The Council watched in horror and relief. The reckless attack had failed, but the response had revealed even more of humanity's strength. Fear turned inward. If humans chose war, no defense would hold. If they chose peace, it would be on their terms. Inside the human warship, the bridge remained calm. Officers reported the neutralization of the hostile fleet with steady voices. No cheers followed. The captain ordered medical signals sent to the disabled ships, offering aid without conditions. This single act spread faster than any weapon. Stories raced across star systems. Humans had stopped an attack, and then offered help to their attackers. Ancient races, long hardened by endless wars, struggled to understand this behavior. It did not fit the patterns of empire or domination. It felt different. Scholars began to speak openly. Humanity was not here to rule through fear. Humanity was here to force the galaxy to grow up. On Earth, leaders gathered quietly, watching the unfolding events. They remembered their own history, centuries of war, misunderstanding, and near destruction. Humanity had learned the cost of pride. The warship was the result of that lesson. It carried enough power to burn stars, but it had been designed first to control, to protect, and to warn. Back in the council chamber, a senior elder finally spoke the truth aloud. The galaxy had judged humans by their early chaos and failed to see their growth. While the council enjoyed peace, humanity prepared for the worst. While defenses were lowered, humans strengthened their resolve. The elder proposed a formal invitation for dialogue, one that acknowledged humanity as an equal power. The motion passed, not with confidence, but with necessity. A diplomatic transmission was sent, carefully worded, filled with respect that had been missing before. The human warship did not reply immediately. It waited, letting time work as pressure. Fleets remained frozen, economies stalled, and worlds watched their skies in fear and wonder. Finally, a response came. The same calm human voice spoke, stating that humanity would attend the council, not as a request, but as a fact. The warship would remain in place as a symbol, not a threat. Relief washed through the galaxy, mixed with uncertainty. This was not victory. This was awakening. As preparations began, whispers spread of ancient forces beyond known space, watchers drawn by the shift in power. Some believed the arrival of humanity would change more than politics. It would change destiny. The warship held its position, a silent guardian and judge, while the galaxy adjusted to a new reality. The age of ignoring Earth was over. The age of testing humanity had ended before it truly began. And as stars continued to shine around the dark shape at the galaxy's heart, one truth settled into every mind. The galaxy had lowered its defenses once, and in doing so, it had awakened a species that would never again accept being unseen. The Galactic Council chamber prepared for a meeting unlike any in its long history. Seats were rearranged, symbols of dominance removed, and security fleets positioned at respectful distance rather than in force. Outside the vast station, the human warship remained motionless, its shadow steady against the stars. It did not threaten, yet its presence shaped every decision made inside. Delegates from hundreds of worlds arrived in silence, their thoughts heavy with the events that had shaken the galaxy. For the first time, the council felt small. When the human delegation arrived, there was no grand display. A single shuttle departed the warship and docked with calm precision. Inside were only a few representatives, unarmed, dressed simply, their expressions focused and unreadable. The contrast struck everyone watching. A species capable of overwhelming force chose humility instead. As the humans entered the chamber, conversations died instantly. They did not bow or demand attention. They waited. The council speaker finally addressed them, acknowledging humanity as an equal power and admitting the failure of past judgments. The words felt fragile, but necessary. The human representative listened without interruption, then spoke in clear, simple language. Humanity did not come to claim territory or wealth. Humanity came because silence had become dangerous. Being ignored had placed Earth at risk. The warship existed to ensure that would never happen again. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some delegates felt relief, others suspicion. The human explained that their history had taught them painful lessons. When threats were ignored, they grew. When fear ruled, wars followed. Humanity had chosen a different path. Strength would support peace, not replace it. Outside the station, sensors detected unusual movement near the warship. Council security tensed, fearing another attack. But the human vessel merely adjusted position, aligning its systems defensively, protecting the station without being asked. The message was subtle but powerful. Humanity guarded the very council that once dismissed them. Inside, discussions deepened. Humans shared limited data. showing how easily their ship could disable fleets, but also how carefully it avoided harm. They spoke of restraint as a weapon greater than fire. Many older species struggled with this idea. Power had always meant domination. Humanity challenged that belief. As the meeting continued, a sudden warning echoed across the chamber. A distant colony, far from council space, was under attack by unknown raiders. The council hesitated, divided by distance and politics. Before debate could begin, the human representative spoke again. Humanity would respond, not for favor, but because unchecked violence threatened everyone. The council agreed, unsure but desperate. Outside, the warship came alive. Without dramatic movement, it shifted course and vanished into a controlled jump. Hours later, reports returned. The raiders were neutralized, their ships disabled, the colony unharmed. No civilian deaths. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. Humanity had acted faster and cleaner than any combined fleet. When the warship returned to its position near the council, something had changed. Fear remained, but respect had taken root. Back in the chamber, voices softened. Accusations faded. For the first time, the council asked humans how they wished to proceed. The answer was simple. Humanity wanted cooperation, shared defense, and honest recognition. No special rule. No hidden control. Just equal standing. Agreements were drafted, slowly and carefully. Old powers resisted, but events had stripped their arguments bare. The galaxy had seen the alternative. As the session ended, the human delegation prepared to leave. Before they did, the representative offered a final statement. The warship was not a symbol of conquest. It was a reminder of what happened when voices were ignored. Humanity hoped it would never need to fire in anger. The humans departed as quietly as they had arrived. Outside, the warship settled back into stillness, its systems returning to watchful calm. Across the galaxy, reaction spread. Some worlds celebrated new security. Others feared the future. But all understood that the balance had shifted. Humanity had not demanded submission. Humanity had earned attention. As stars drifted past the dark hull of the warship, the galaxy faced a new truth. Strength guided by restraint was more powerful than fear. The age of careless confidence had ended. A new era was beginning, shaped by a species that had once been dismissed and would never again allow itself to be forgotten. After the council session ended, the galaxy did not return to normal. Trade routes reopened slowly, fleets stayed alert, and every major power watched the human warship with careful attention. It remained near the council station, silent and unmoving, yet its presence changed how space felt. Worlds that once felt safe now felt exposed, and worlds that once felt weak felt protected. Inside the warship, human crews monitored the shifting balance with calm focus. They understood that respect earned too quickly could also turn into fear. Humanity needed to show not just strength, but purpose. That purpose was tested sooner than expected. Deep within a nearby uninhabited system, long ignored by the council, a massive energy surge was detected. Ancient structures, buried within a dead star's remains, began to awaken. The readings were unlike anything recorded. Power levels rose beyond known limits, bending gravity and time. The council panicked, suspecting a human weapon test. Accusations spread quickly, old fear returning. Humanity responded without anger. They invited council observers aboard the warship to witness the truth. It was an unprecedented offer. Many hesitated, but curiosity and fear won. Delegates boarded the massive vessel, stepping into halls built for function, not display. They saw disciplined crews, layered defenses, and systems designed for control rather than destruction. On the bridge, they watched as the warship approached the strange anomaly. The ancient structure pulsed with unstable energy, threatening to tear the system apart. Humanity did not attack it. Instead, the warship deployed advanced containment fields, surrounding the structure and slowly calming its violent output. The process was precise and patient, taking hours. The observers realized this level of control required technology, far beyond simple weapons. Humanity was managing forces that could erase stars, yet doing so with care. Data revealed that the structure was a remnant of a long-dead civilization, a power core meant to sustain entire galaxies, now decaying and dangerous. Humanity explained that they had discovered similar ruins near Earth centuries ago and had nearly destroyed themselves trying to understand them. They had learned caution through loss. When the containment stabilized, the system was saved. The council observers were silent, their fear replaced by awe. Humanity had just prevented a disaster without firing a shot. As the warship withdrew, the galaxy's view of human power shifted again. This was not a doomsday machine. It was a guardian built from painful experience. News spread fast. Worlds began requesting human assistance with dormant weapons, unstable stars, and ancient relics. Humanity did not answer all calls, but they guided others, sharing knowledge carefully. Trust grew slowly, replacing suspicion. Yet not everyone welcomed this change. A hidden faction within the galaxy, ancient and patient, watched from beyond known space. They had survived by remaining unseen, feeding on chaos and fear. Humanity's arrival threatened that balance. As cooperation spread, their influence weakened. They decided to act. Without warning, several communication relays across the galaxy failed. Panic rippled as systems went dark. Evidence was planted to frame humanity, suggesting sabotage by human agents. Old fears resurfaced. The Council demanded answers. Humanity responded by opening their records, exposing every movement of the warship and its fleet. The truth was clear. Humanity was not responsible. The deception was uncovered, revealing the existence of the hidden faction. The galaxy faced a new threat, one that had manipulated events for centuries. The Council turned to humanity again, not out of fear, but necessity. Humanity agreed to help, but warned that this enemy would not be defeated by force alone. Understanding and unity were required. The warship began preparing for a deeper mission, its systems adjusting for unknown conditions. Crews trained quietly, knowing this challenge would test more than weapons. As the ship powered up, observers felt a strange calm. Humanity was no longer reacting to events. They were shaping them. The galaxy had once lowered its defenses out of arrogance. Now it raised them together, guided by a species that understood the cost of ignorance. The warship moved away from the Council station, heading toward the edge of known space, not as a symbol of fear, but as a beacon of measured strength. Every world watched it go, aware that the future would be harder, but also more honest. Humanity's hidden power was no longer just in its weapons, but in its willingness to face the unknown without turning away. As the human warship moved toward the edge of known space, the galaxy felt a strange mix of tension and trust. For the first time in its long history, different species shared information openly, guided by human coordination. But unity was fragile, and the hidden faction sensed it. They chose a target meant to break that trust. Far from the Council and far from Earth, a chain of small frontier colonies came under sudden attack. These worlds were poor, lightly defended, and politically unimportant. The attackers struck fast, using ships that mimicked Council technology, leaving signs meant to point blame at humanity. Colonies burned. Stations went silent. Panic spread across the networks. Voices rose again in the Council chamber, old fear crawling back. Some accused humanity of showing its true face. Others demanded immediate retaliation. The mistake returned, not of arrogance, but of rushing to judgment. Humanity did not argue. They acted. The warship altered course instantly, its engines adjusting with smooth precision. No speech was given. No defense was made. The ship jumped toward the attacked colonies with calm speed. Along the way, human analysts traced the attack patterns, stripping away the deception layer by layer. They found inconsistencies, timing errors, and energy signatures that did not match human systems. Proof formed quietly. When the warship arrived, the scene was chaos. Damaged stations drifted. Emergency signals overlapped. The attackers were still there, hunting survivors, confident that confusion would protect them. The human warship did not announce itself. It entered the system silently, masking its presence completely. For the first time since its creation, it chose the path of the hunter. Inside the ship, focus sharpened. This was not a warning mission. This was protection. As the attackers moved toward another colony, space itself seemed to change. Their sensors failed. Communications died. Panic replaced confidence. Then the warship revealed itself, emerging like a shadow made solid. The attackers opened fire immediately, unleashing everything they had. It was useless. Human defenses absorbed the assault without slowing. Then the response came, precise and final. Control pulses swept through the enemy fleet, not disabling them gently, but locking them in place. Weapons froze. Drives collapsed. Escape was impossible. Human strike drones deployed, boarding ships with surgical speed. The hidden faction's crews were captured alive, their technology secured, their deception exposed. The battle ended in minutes. No colony was lost after the warship arrived. Medical teams followed, human and alien together, saving lives without asking names or loyalties. Survivors watched in disbelief as the same species accused of betrayal now stood between them and destruction. Evidence was transmitted to the Council in full clarity. The attacks were not human. They never had been. The hidden faction was revealed fully at last, its long manipulation laid bare. Shame filled the council chamber. Humanity had been blamed again, just as before, and again they had answered with restraint instead of anger. A council elder finally spoke what many felt. The galaxy's greatest mistake was not lowering its defenses. It was failing to trust those who had earned trust. Humanity returned the captured attackers for judgment, refusing to execute or vanish them. Justice, they said, must be shared, or it would fail. The warship remained in the system for a time, guarding the colonies as repairs began. People looked up at the dark shape in their sky and felt something new. Not fear. Safety. News of the defense spread fast, faster than fear ever had. Worlds that once hesitated now spoke openly in humanity's favor. The hidden faction's influence weakened rapidly as lies lost their power. But humanity did not celebrate. On the warship, officers reviewed the battle quietly. They knew this was only one strike in a longer struggle. The enemy would adapt. They always did. Humanity had learned that lesson on Earth. As repairs finished, the warship prepared to move again, deeper into uncertain space. Before leaving, the captain authorized a final open transmission to the frontier worlds. The message was simple. Humanity would not abandon those who could not defend themselves. Strength meant nothing if it did not protect the weak. As the ship departed, the colonies watched it fade into the stars, carrying both hope and warning. Across the galaxy, leaders listened and understood. Humanity's power was no longer hidden. Neither was its purpose. The age of excuses had ended. The galaxy had been tested again and nearly failed again. But this time, it had not stood alone. And somewhere beyond the edge of known space, darker forces began to realize a hard truth. Humanity was no longer reacting to threats. Humanity was ready to end them. As the human warship continued its journey through the outer regions, the galaxy entered a rare moment of reflection. The exposure of the hidden faction forced many species to confront their own history of fear and manipulation. Records were reopened, old conflicts re-examined, and long-standing lies uncovered. Humanity did not demand credit or control. Instead, they shared fragments of their own past, explaining how Earth had nearly destroyed itself through mistrust and pride. These lessons resonated deeply. The warship became more than a military asset. It became a moving reminder of survival through understanding. During a quiet transit phase, the ship entered a region of space dense with cosmic debris. Remnants of ancient wars fought long before humanity existed. Wrecked fleets drifted silently, broken by forces beyond comprehension. The sight stirred memories among the human crew. Their ancestors had once fought similar wars, leaving scars on their own world. The captain ordered a slow passage, allowing on-board historians to record the ruins. Humanity believed memory was a weapon against repeating mistakes. Meanwhile, the council faced unrest. Some powerful species feared humanity's influence was growing too fast. They whispered that humans were reshaping galactic order under the mask of cooperation. Pressure built for a test, something that could measure humanity's true intent. That test came unexpectedly. A classified human archive, detailing early Earth conflicts and destructive weapons, was leaked across galactic networks. The images were brutal, showing humanity at its worst. Panic surged. Old fear returned. How could a species with such a violent past be trusted with such power? Humanity did not deny the archive. They confirmed it was real. The warship paused its advance, holding position in open space. Then a transmission was sent, not to defend, but to explain. The human representative spoke of Earth's history openly. Humanity had nearly ended itself many times. Wars, greed, and hatred had pushed them to the edge. But those failures were exactly why they chose restraint now. Power without memory, they said, always leads to ruin. They invited the council to study the full history, not just the horrors, but the rebuilding that followed. While debate raged, an emergency interrupted everything. A massive stellar rupture began in a nearby system, a star collapsing faster than predicted. Several inhabited worlds faced extinction within hours. Council fleets were too far away. Evacuation was impossible. All eyes turned to humanity. Without waiting for permission, the warship moved. It entered the dying system, positioning itself between the collapsing star and the nearest planet. Systems activated that no alien sensors could fully understand. The warship released controlled energy streams, stabilizing the star's outer layers, slowing the collapse. The strain was enormous. Hull integrity dropped. Crews worked non-stop, adjusting field second by second. For the first time, the galaxy saw the warship struggle. Humanity was risking its greatest asset to save alien worlds. After long hours, the collapse stabilized. The system was saved, though the warship suffered heavy damage. It drifted quietly, scarred but intact. Cheers erupted across saved worlds. Silence filled the council chamber. The leaked archive lost its power. No one could doubt humanity's intent after witnessing such sacrifice. Repair ships arrived, human and alien together, working side by side. As repairs began, trust deepened. The warship resumed limited movement, its scars visible, a symbol of choice. Humanity had chosen to protect, not dominate. The galaxy learned that a violent past did not define a peaceful future. As the ship departed the system, a message followed it across the stars. Humanity's strength was not in denying its history, but in growing beyond it. The galaxy had searched for proof of humanity's soul. It had found it not in words, but in action, written across the light of a saved star. The galaxy slowly adjusted to a new reality after humanity's display of restraint and power. The council, once arrogant and divided, began to see the need for genuine cooperation. Across star systems, old rivalries softened as leaders realized that ignoring or underestimating Earth could have catastrophic consequences. Humanity did not demand control, but the presence of the warship reminded every species that a new order was emerging, one guided by strength tempered with wisdom. The warship remained stationed near key council systems, a silent guardian and symbol of accountability. Trade routes reopened under careful supervision, while frontier colonies grew confident knowing the warship could respond quickly to any threat. Humans communicated frequently, not with arrogance, but with clarity and calm. Data was shared, strategies coordinated, and lessons taught. Worlds once ignored found themselves under protection, not domination. Yet even as the galaxy experienced this fragile peace, challenges remained. Some older species feared that too much reliance on humanity would make them weak. Secret alliances formed in shadow, questioning if the humans' intentions were permanent or if power could be misused. Humanity anticipated this. The warship conducted extensive patrols, not to intimidate, but to ensure no aggressive force could exploit division. Every action reinforced a simple message: strength without cruelty. Meanwhile, scholars and historians began to rewrite galactic records. Humanity was no longer a footnote. Earth's survival, its trials, and its growth became examples of resilience. Old myths of humans as weak or chaotic were replaced with stories of strategic patience and disciplined strength. Young species admired the human's capacity to prepare, endure, and act with precision. In one quiet system, a new council initiative was underway. Representatives from multiple species gathered to form an interstellar defense network. Humans led the discussions, but they did not dictate. They offered guidance, shared technology, and explained tactics born from centuries of survival and trial. Their leadership was subtle but effective. Plans were drafted for rapid response fleets, early warning systems, and collaborative research on ancient technologies. Humanity stressed balance, reminding all that power alone could not secure peace. Understanding and cooperation were equally vital. Far from council space, scouts detected unusual activity. Remnants of the hidden faction, defeated before, were regrouping in uncharted regions. They sought to exploit divisions among species who had yet to fully trust one another. Humans did not panic. The warship sensors, combined with allied fleets, monitored movements, preparing quietly to intervene if necessary. Communication networks ensured that any colony under threat could call for immediate aid. Humanity's presence was both a shield and a warning. No attack would go unanswered, but restraint remained paramount. On Earth, scientists and leaders studied these developments with care. They planned further missions to explore distant sectors, seeking threats and allies alike. Knowledge, they knew, was as powerful as any weapon. Within the council chamber, debates shifted from blame to strategy. Species once dismissive of humanity now acknowledged that their approach had altered galactic politics irreversibly. Cooperation became necessary for survival, and humans had set the standard. The warship, though stationary for much of this period, became a hub for training and observation. Alien crews were invited aboard to learn advanced systems, defensive tactics, and the philosophy behind humanity's restraint. Bonds formed not just through survival, but through shared understanding. For a time, the galaxy breathed easier. Attacks became rare, and diplomacy grew stronger. Yet the hidden faction remained a threat, a reminder that vigilance was never complete. Humanity anticipated their next move, preparing fleets in secret, but always acting with transparency whenever possible. The lesson was clear: peace required readiness, and strength demanded responsibility. Across countless star systems, the presence of the human warship became a story told to children, scholars, and leaders alike. It was not merely a weapon, but a symbol of what could be achieved when a species learned from its own past and applied its power with wisdom. Every patrol, every shared lesson, every silent observation reinforced this truth. The galaxy had once underestimated Earth. Now it understood that humans were not conquerors, nor were they mere allies. They were guardians, teachers, and living proof that strength guided by restraint could reshape entire civilizations. The hidden faction, watching from afar, realized that subtle chaos alone would not be enough. Humanity's foresight, preparation, and willingness to act without malice made them nearly impossible to outmaneuver. Plans formed in secret now required far more cunning than before. The warship continued its patrols, moving slowly, predictably, yet always ready. The galaxy adjusted to this presence, finding balance in cooperation while respecting power. And through it all, humanity remained consistent, strong but patient, watchful but calm, proving that a species once dismissed could define the future of an entire galaxy. The calm the galaxy had begun to enjoy after humanity's arrival was shattered without warning. Far beyond the known systems, an ancient force stirred. Long hidden in the dark spaces between galaxies, a colossal armada of unknown origin emerged, faster and more powerful than anything recorded. Sensors across multiple systems detected energy readings that dwarfed even the human warship, and entire fleets trembled at the signs. Panic spread quickly. Worlds that had begun to trust humanity now looked to them for protection, realizing that no species could face this alone. The council convened an emergency session, voices raised in fear and confusion. Ancient prophecies were cited, old texts consulted, but none could provide answers. Humanity did not hesitate. The warship, scarred but ready, altered course immediately. It moved toward the unknown threat, joined by allied fleets coordinated through the human command. Every ship, every pilot, and every system was prepared for the possibility of annihilation. For the first time, the human warship would not merely protect, it would lead. As they entered the uncharted sector, the scale of the enemy became apparent. Ships of unimaginable size, bristling with energy weapons, advanced shields, and technology that bent known physics, formed lines that stretched beyond sensor range. Silence fell across all communication channels as the reality of the threat sank in. Humanity's captain did not falter. Orders were precise, calm, and unyielding. Smaller fleets were assigned to reconnaissance and defensive positions, while the warship positioned itself to intercept the lead vessels. Alien allies watched, learning how a species once underestimated could now orchestrate a response to a threat none dared challenge before. The first engagement began subtly. The enemy sent probe ships forward, testing the defenses. The human warship responded not with overwhelming firepower, but with calculated precision. Defensive pulses disabled engines and weapons without destroying the crews. The probes drifted helplessly, a warning to the rest of the armada. The larger ships reacted aggressively, moving to overwhelm the human-led fleet. Beams of energy, missiles, and unknown weapons struck simultaneously. Human shields adapted instantly, bending attacks away, dispersing energy, and neutralizing threats with minimal expenditure of force. Alien fleets mirrored the movements, protected by the human warship's guidance. Each maneuver was a lesson in discipline and coordination. The enemy was relentless, but their attacks lacked subtlety. Humanity predicted every move. The warship deployed tactical drones capable of monitoring multiple sectors at once, controlling smaller allied ships remotely to maximize efficiency. Battles raged across space in bursts of light and silent power. Worlds watched, unable to intervene directly, as humans faced a force larger and more technologically advanced than any recorded threat. Hours passed, then days. The human warship's endurance became apparent. Despite attacks designed to overwhelm, it remained operational. Damage was repaired in real time, shields reinforced, and every system optimized to counter new weapons. Coordination between humans and alien fleets improved with each engagement. Finally, the enemy revealed its intent. Massive strike units moved toward a densely populated cluster of colonies, aiming to destroy them before the Council could intervene. Humanity did not wait for permission. The warship led the Allied fleets in a direct counterattack. Strategic strikes, combined with defensive manipulation, allowed the humans to isolate the lead enemy vessels without unnecessary destruction. The colonies were protected, the enemy forced to retreat temporarily. Every action reinforced one undeniable truth: humanity would not hesitate when lives were at stake. After the immediate threat was neutralized, the human captain convened a strategic meeting with alien admirals. Together, they coordinated fleet movements, supply lines, and long-range surveillance. Humanity shared its experience and planning methods, demonstrating that the difference between survival and extinction often lay in preparation, discipline, and cooperation. The enemy regrouped, attempting to flank the human-led forces. Again, humanity anticipated the move. Using advanced sensors and predictive algorithms, the warship countered the flanking force before they could reach critical positions. The enemy's power was immense, but their lack of understanding of coordinated restraint was their weakness. By the time they recognized the strategy, it was too late. Ships were captured or neutralized, and the fleet's cohesion began to crumble. Across the galaxy, observers felt a mix of awe and relief. Humanity had turned what could have been a catastrophe into a demonstration of calculated strength and leadership. The warship, though battered and glowing faintly with signs of its exertion, remained fully operational. Alien crews spoke openly of respect, no longer fear. Humanity's approach had not just protected lives, it had united species that had once struggled to trust one another. In the aftermath, the Council issued a formal acknowledgement. Humanity's leadership, strategy, and restraint had saved countless systems from devastation. The warship returned to a stationary position near the Council, a visible symbol of strength and vigilance. Plans were made to explore the enemy's origins further, but humanity stressed caution. Aggression without understanding, they reminded the Council, would invite disaster. Across countless star systems, messages spread, not of victory, but of warning and hope. Humanity had demonstrated that intelligence, preparation, and patience could rival sheer power. The ancient armada had been checked, not with reckless force, but with controlled precision, coordinated strategy, and unwavering discipline. The galaxy had learned a vital lesson. Humanity was no longer a fledgling species to be ignored. It was a leader, a guardian, and a force whose combination of restraint and power could alter the course of history itself. The age of underestimating Earth was over. The warship, silent yet imposing, remained in place, ready for the next challenge, a constant reminder that strength guided by wisdom was the galaxy's greatest ally, and its most formidable defender. The galaxy held its breath as the human warship prepared for the final confrontation. The ancient armada, though battered and diminished by previous encounters, had regrouped with reinforcements from unknown regions. They moved with silent precision, their intent clear: to assert dominance over any who opposed them. The council called for emergency consultations, yet no plan could match the scale of the threat. Every fleet, every strategist, and every leader understood that this was a fight for survival, not conquest. Humanity did not hesitate. The warship, scarred from prior battles, but fully operational, took the lead. Alien fleets fell into formation around it, guided by human calculations and commands. Every movement was deliberate, every position strategic. The enemy advanced relentlessly, deploying overwhelming numbers and experimental weapons that bent known physics. Energy beams arced across space, missiles traveled faster than sight, and unknown forces rippled through the void. The human warship countered each attack with calm precision. Shields adapted instantaneously, absorbing and redirecting energy while minimizing collateral damage. Tactical drones coordinated smaller allied ships, creating flexible and responsive formations capable of reacting to any maneuver. For hours, the battle raged across multiple systems, light and shadow dancing in the darkness. Despite the ferocity of the armada, humanity's strategy focused on preservation rather than annihilation. They neutralized enemy ships without unnecessary destruction, capturing crews when possible to gather intelligence and prevent further escalation. Alien admirals, witnessing these actions firsthand, were awed. Discipline and restraint, they realized, were more powerful than brute force. The warship's leadership turned chaotic engagements into controlled, effective maneuvers, keeping Allied losses minimal while applying maximum pressure on the enemy. As the battle continued, the enemy deployed massive war units aimed directly at critical colonies. Humanity responded instantly, moving the warship to shield populated worlds while coordinating simultaneous counterstrikes to disable the approaching units. Precision pulses and containment fields rendered devastating weapons harmless. Starships that had once seemed unstoppable now drifted powerless, their crews bewildered by the efficiency and foresight of the humans. The galaxy watched in astonishment. Never had a single species demonstrated such a balance of overwhelming power and disciplined control. Messages of gratitude and relief poured in from systems saved by the warship, while scholars began documenting the campaign as a defining moment in galactic history. Despite the success, the human captain remained focused. Every action was analyzed, every possibility anticipated, ensuring no victory led to complacency. The enemy, realizing its attacks were being anticipated, attempted desperate maneuvers to break the coordinated formations. Again, humanity's predictive algorithms and tactical planning outmatched them. Fleets were split, forced into positions where they could neither escape nor effectively attack. For the first time, the enemy faltered. Ships were captured or disabled in swift succession, their armada crumbling under the disciplined onslaught. Civilians across the galaxy watched the battle unfold through long-range transmissions. Fear and despair had turned into hope and admiration. Humanity's approach had transformed not just the outcome of the conflict, but the perception of what it meant to be strong. After days of sustained combat, the remaining enemy forces attempted a retreat through unstable jump gates, hoping to escape. The warship, anticipating this, deployed containment fields around key exits, forcing them into surrender. The final phase of the campaign required direct engagement with the enemy's command units. Humanity moved decisively, combining Allied ships into coordinated strikes that disabled the leadership fleet without mass destruction. Enemy leaders were captured alive, the technology secured, and plans revealed. With the armada neutralized, the galaxy exhaled. Systems that had been under threat were safe, colonies untouched, and trade routes reopening. Humanity's victory was not only tactical, but philosophical. The warship had demonstrated that strength without indiscriminate violence could achieve what armies of millions could not. In the aftermath, alien species formally recognized humanity's role in safeguarding the galaxy. The Council, humbled and transformed by the conflict, granted Earth and its species a permanent seat in decision-making processes. Alliances formed under human guidance, establishing protocols to prevent future threats from escalating unchecked. The Warship, now bearing the scars of countless engagements, returned to its station near the Council, not as a symbol of conquest, but as a guardian of peace. Across the stars, the legend of humanity spread. Stories told of a species once underestimated, now capable of shaping the destiny of entire civilizations through strategy, restraint, and courage. Scholars wrote of the final battle as a turning point in galactic history, a testament to the power of preparation, unity, and ethical strength. Humanity's journey from a single planet to a defining force became a model for other species, inspiring programs in defense, diplomacy, and collaboration. The hidden faction, long manipulating events from the shadows, was exposed and contained, their influence permanently diminished. The galaxy had been tested repeatedly, and each time, humanity's foresight, patience, and strength ensured survival. In the quiet that followed, the warship remained vigilant, scanning for threats, training new fleets, and teaching allies. Its presence was a constant reminder that peace required readiness, and that power was most effective when guided by wisdom. On Earth, leaders reflected on centuries of hardship, understanding that every failure, every war, and every lesson had prepared humanity for this defining moment. Across countless worlds, civilizations looked to humanity as an example of balance between might and morality. The age of underestimating Earth was over forever. The galaxy had learned a profound truth. A species that combined patience, intelligence, and controlled power could not only survive, but lead. And as the human warship drifted among the stars, silent and imposing, every system knew that humanity would always be ready to defend, guide, and protect, ensuring that the mistakes of the past would never be repeated, and that the legend of Earth's rise would endure across the galaxy for all time.